Hey guys, just got in town for the Mike Francois Classic. Gonna go over a little bit of what I've been doing the last, I think it's 18 weeks of prep. I competed 3 weeks ago at the Kentucky Derby Classic. Won my weight class in the heavyweights. So we're going to talk about a little bit the difference going into that show as opposed to going into this show. I started prep probably around 4,000 calories, about 320 grams of protein, 450 grams of carbs, and about 50 grams of fat. You know, through the first prep was 16 weeks long, going into the first show. I ended up at a low of about 150 grams of carbs at about 6 weeks out. Fats got down to about 35. Proteins never changed from then till now. I got ready early, which I always advise for myself or anybody competing, clients. And once I hit that peak, we started basically kind of reverse dieting in a way and started adding back in carbs. It basically sped things up, and by the time I got to the next show, or to the first show, my carbs had basically tripled daily. I was having a refeed since the start of prep every single Saturday. Started out probably around 500 carbs, ended up being about 800 to 1,000 grams every single Saturday the last 3 weeks. And then going into the last week of prep for the first show, carbs, daily carbs were right around 350 grams. The goal was to basically cruise into the show, coast into the show, and not really have to do too much the last week. Obviously, you got to take that day by day and listen to your body, see how you look, see how you're responding to everything. So I got through some curveballs the last week, so to speak. My body weight just started dropping. I started getting flat on 400 grams of carbs. So I had to obviously increase. Then I got to Thursday, and nothing was popping in the gym. Flat as a pancake during workouts. So I decided to push really hard that day and got around 800 grams of carbs. Got up the next day. Everything was finally back to where it was. But then as the day progressed, Friday, the day of weigh-ins, I was drinking probably about 30 to 40 ounces of water with every single meal. My carb intake was going to be around 600. But what I found is that every time I ate and drank water, my weight kept dropping. I couldn't feel out. We got into weigh-ins, weighed in at 204. After that, had about another 150 grams of carbs, went back to the hotel room, I dropped 2 more pounds. So basically my last 3 meals I had to take in about 400 or 500 grams to fill me out. Got up the next morning, finally back to normal. After that, basically all day on Saturday, the day of the show, I just had to force myself to eat a lot of food. I mean, we took in about 1,000 grams that day to stay full. Water stayed at about 300 ounces that day. Everything worked out in the end, and took home first place. Probably could have been a little bit drier, but overall it worked out well. And this next part, I'm going to talk about the difference of going into the first prep as opposed to these last 3 weeks going into this prep, because they've pretty much been night and day as far as, you know, calorie intake, what I've had to do to keep my conditioning, muscle fullness, etc., etc. So in the next video, we'll talk about that a little more in depth, and then maybe go through some posing, show you where I'm at right now, and what I've been eating today and going through the day, and then we'll take you in tomorrow as well.